And for those that are listening to the recording as well, and those may be newer to this conversation, thanks for that, Charlie. And I think the idea here is that everybody's got a million things going on, and often, as we're researching or at the same time, running your business, running your operation, whatever it might be, often it's hard to stay connected, figure out what's new, make new connections, all of the above. And so if, every now and then, at least once a month, we can do a glamping business spotlight and just talk about 5 minutes of each company that's signed up. It seems to be a win-win for everybody, where people can make more connections, understand who's doing what, take a look at their website, connect obviously afterwards if there's more conversations to be had. But the idea is that hopefully this saves people some time and sanity and money, and just staying connected, staying informed, who's doing what, kind of learn from what other people are doing. And then hopefully this obviously isn't as especially those that are doing their quick 5 minutes, that this isn't the last time that that connection is made, and people can follow up. And obviously feel free, even if you're not presenting today, feel free to put your information in the chat channel as always, and your website and your email and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, this hasn't changed up to this point in time in the glamping industry. It could still feel fragmented, and it could still feel that getting information is sometimes hard. And then you always have that question around, is that even the right information? And so the easiest and the best way that we've been able to kind of combat that over the years is just staying connected, as much as possible with people who have gone through the process or going through the process, and learning from each other. Because obviously the industry will continue to change, but with all the hard work that everybody is doing, it really helps everybody. And so, like I said at the beginning, I know that this group is many things, but not shy is definitely one of them. So, hopefully your conversations throughout, the weeks and months continue to progress, and learn from each other and help each other, because that's how this all works. Okay, got a few more people popping in, but we'll just kick it off with some announcements, and then we'll go from there. Just kind of the weekly reminder that the glamping show tickets are still available. Early bird ends, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. So if this is something that you're planning on doing, this is as cost effective as it will be. And don't forget, there is that AGA discount code too for a slight discount. There is still, they expanded the glamping, on-site glamping as well. So there should be some more spots that opened up as well. So if anybody was thinking about, instead of staying in a hotel, glamping on site, that is still an option and available for those that want to do that. And there are still, the indoor vendor space is booked up, but outdoor, there's a few more spots that are available. So if you have any questions about what that looks like, just let us know, and we'll go from there. If anybody wants to add, remember, we have that discount page. So if you need access to discounts, or if your organization wants to put a discount in there, let us know. We'd love to put that up there and make sure that it's visible to everybody. And then if anybody wants to either be a presenter for our next glamping business spotlight, just send us a message and we'll give you the quick link to fill out so that we put you in order. And the second, we're always, looking for good news and updates and things of that nature. So if you have anything that's going on that we can spotlight, please don't be shy, because we'd love to be able to make sure that everybody knows about all the great things that everybody is doing. So without further ado, we'll kind of kick it off here. And again, it's about 5 minutes from each company, or each organization, or each individual. Ideas for them just to kind of lay out who they are, what they're doing. If there's sourcing any additional information or partnerships or just, connections, feel free obviously to put your information, but you can chat with them directly, obviously, or put your information in the chat channel for everybody to see so people can follow up. But After about 3-4 minutes ish, we'll kind of open it up, and if anybody has any quick clarifying questions, we can't jump into 30 questions because we want to make sure everybody has enough time to connect. But if there's kind of one or two quick questions, we'll jump into that, and then we'll move on to the next person. But obviously, if you didn't get your question answered, reach out to this person or these individuals, outside of this or during the call, chat with them, or get their email or phone number or whatever it might be, website, so that you guys can follow up, because that's the whole gist of it. So we'll start with somebody from FDome's on. I don't have my.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
there
here.
you go. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Good evening for me, and for you, good morning, because it's 7 p.m. in Poland, where we are based. So my name is Joanna, and I'm a sales director at FDomes. Hi, Charlie. It's been a while. We cooperate with Charlie when it comes to the deckings for our domes as well. So we have one project behind us. And just to make it quick, 5 minutes is really little. So I prepared the presentation, but I won't put it because I don't want to distract, reading versus listening. So FDomes is the manufacturer of geodesic domes for accommodation purposes. We've been on the market for 15 years now, starting with large event tents. So you may know us from The Martian, the movie of Ridley Scott, where we delivered the structures, from the Star Wars movie premiere, Lady Gaga concert. So these were our clients initially when we were in the events. And from 2015, we started copying and pasting the concept into the glamping world. And since then, we've been developing the glamping domes, starting with just the shells. Now we deliver somehow the business in a box solution. So you can have either a dome only, which is of course insulated, which has all the add-ons. You can have interior modules, either for the domes, but also for any other accommodation types. So you can put the bathroom, which is prefabricated, ready to use, plug and play solution, a kitchen, a loft, and a bedroom, to be incorporated either in our domes or any other accommodation type for glamping. And we will be exhibiting on the Glamping Show US with 7 new products, including the glass opening large vision window that we think will be kind of something very new for geodesic domes. As the manufacturer, what we do, at the moment, we are the only company delivering the spherical tents that actually does it. We check and verify each and every location of our clients when they contact us. So our first question always is, where are you guys located? Can you send us the Google Map pin? Because our engineer checks each and every location and the dome size and advises the framework type, but also the steel type that needs to be implemented in order to meet the local requirements for snow and wind loads. We know that now setting up any glamping accommodation is getting harder and harder because of the permissions. So we try to make the step forward, and even if necessary, deliver a very detailed document, which are static calculations for the projects, which actually helped many of our clients recently, because they were coming back to us asking for the static calculations. So yeah, this is it. I wouldn't like to take more time, because I think that, as my clients say, all paths lead to FDomes when it comes to spherical tents. So I believe that there is a few people who know us here. And I will leave my email address, the direct email address, on the chat. So if you have any questions regarding the domes, regarding your location, we are able to help you out with the whole process. So it's not only selling the domes, we would like to advise you as well. So what size of the dome, for how many people, how far away to set up the domes, what customization would be perfect for your location. This is different in Texas, different in Montana. So we are there to help you out throughout the process, but also afterwards. So we are there to promote you, to showcase you on our websites, to kind of navigate the traffic to your website at the beginning as well. So everything we can do to basically support you from step one up to the step you launch the resort, we are here.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions before we move on to the next speaker? You can just jump in and or raise your hand. And for any of the questions, I know sometimes people don't like it. They rather just kind of type it in. So even if you type in the question, we'll make sure that people can hear it. But I'll just kind of pause for a quick second here if anybody has any quick questions before we move on to Sage.
I got a quick one. Are you really doing glass for the domes?
We're doing glass now. Yeah, we are introducing now the large, and you will see it on the glamping show. It will be large sliding door at the front of the dome. So actually you can walk out to sit in front of the dome and air it and have more space inside. It's really cool, the solution. The doors will be sliding, they will be lockable, so you don't really need the other door at the back of the dome. It can be the entrance to the door as well at the same time.
I can't wait. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Thank you very much. And thanks for putting your information in there. And it really is every single year just being able to see the different innovations and the different products that are coming to the market. It really is exciting. It's what it's what the industry needs for everybody to be able to have, just some exciting products. So thanks so much.
I can just say we will have 7 new products showcasing on the glamping show. So there is a lot to wait for.
That's exciting. Why have one when you can have 7, right? That's
exactly. Awesome. Lucky 7.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't know if anybody, Connor or Sherry, are you on from Sage? I don't know if I saw you in there yet. Oh, here we go. Let's go ahead and we'll go with Quaint Glamping, and then we'll kind of hop back over to Connor because I think Connor's just popping in right now. But we'll do Quaint, and then Connor after Quaint. You're up.
Okay. Well, thanks, Ruben. Hi all. My name is Ansh Singh. Me and my wife Bella are the founders of Quaint Glamping Resort, to be launched in summer of 2024 in upstate New Hampshire. Our mission is to help travelers get hooked into the quaint New Hampshire outdoors by providing a quality and luxurious outdoor experience in the form of a glamping resort. How did we come about it? Well, we visited New Hampshire several times. My phone number is still from Maine. So we used to go out to New Hampshire for several things: ski, hiking, lakes, waterfalls, fall colors. Those are gorgeous. Northern New Hampshire in general is just quaint. It's old school. Everything is untouched, and not much human interaction. So it's just beautiful, hence the name. But we couldn't find any quality accommodation there other than a few hotels or campgrounds. So my wife is not a big campground fan, but going to check out waterfalls and those kind of things and staying in a hotel doesn't make any sense. So especially during wintertime, there is nothing available. So we decided to give that comprehensive experience to the outdoor lovers, irrespective of the season. So we're going to stay open throughout the year. And we both love the mountains so much that we bought our first 56 acres land on a mountain, which climbs up to, I would say, around 900 feet elevation, and gives 270-degree mountain views as you climb up. So we acquired the land, I'd say December last year, and then we met our phenomenal architect who put together a preliminary site plan. We went and met the town. We got them super excited about what we were planning to do. It was, I picked the land knowing the zoning. So the whole thing was already allowed. Lodging is allowed. Campground is special exception. So we didn't go with the campground, the simple route. We went to the complicated route. And then we just grew the team by adding wetland scientists, surveys, civil, septic, soil, and geotech guys. And we all put together a comprehensive site plan within 6 weeks, which is unheard of anyway. So the super exciting news, latest news is we got a unanimous town approval on June 1st. So we are in business now. Our stays will be domes because of the weather condition. Like Joanna just said, the snow and the wind loads are super high in our site. And we are on a mountain, so it kind of makes it more complicated. So we're going to start with domes, and then we'll see other unique structures, how they play around. We'll have several amenities at our resort, mostly catered towards the human instincts. So like gated entrance. We all want to feel safe. So gated entrance because we're on Route 3, you know. A very unique, beautiful upscale base camp, which would not look like a resort, but it will be not too far away from it either. Thanks to Zach from Clockwork. That will have a gathering area, a store, a pool, a bar, and an outdoor fireside seating. And apparently a pond, which I never thought of, but Zach came up with the pond idea, which we could put a fountain for the summertime, and we'll make an ice skating rink during wintertime. We will have a brewery on site. There was a restaurant back in old day 1970s that fire department burned down. So we'll have a brewery at that spot. We will have a restaurant also. Then we'll have 2 to 3 coin pads because we're going to build around 45 structures, including domes and some other unique structures. And so we got to have 2 or 3 different event spaces. So 2 or 3 coin pads where we'll have wine tasting, beer tasting of our own brewery, mixology classes, yogas, and so on. We'll also have professional masseuses and photographers on demand. We'll have trails on our site where you can hike, run moon bikes, or snowshoe. We will rent moon bikes, snowshoes, and ice skating boots and bikes on site. We will also have premium Wi-Fi from Skyweb. And those are all the amenities that I can think of. I can think of anything. At the end, I just want to thank Paul Bosley from Business Finance Depot to help me understand the SBA process and connect me to some financial institutions. Right now, I'm filling the SBA paperwork for phase 1. And if everything goes well, should be digging dirt by this point and launch by next summer. With that, I'll take questions.
Congrats. Any quick questions?
Yeah, I had one. Can you go back to that entitlement issue? You said you didn't take the complicated route. You took one. You had the entitlements were in place. It was zoned for that. I wasn't quite clear.
Yep. So the land was zoned for lodging and campground. So lodging was permitted. Campground is for a special exception. And we didn't take campground route because a lot of times campgrounds are perceived as only seasonal. And we wanted to make it throughout the year. And second thing is the structures that we are going to use, they are larger in size, and campground requirement restricts us to keep it at 400 square feet. So we can't really do that. But lodging is a challenge in itself because now we got to deal with building codes, which our architect is very familiar with. So he has a way around it.
Got it.
Thanks, Todd. Charlie, did you have something?
First of all, Anj, congratulations. That timeline is amazing. That's good job to you and Zach and the whole team that's executing that. My real question is, do you have any insulation secrets? That's some serious temperatures that you're dealing with, and your confidence for year round is encouraging.
Yes. So I learned from another glamping owner, glamping resort owner, where was he? He was in Utah, that he used spray foam, and my architect also proposed the same thing, that use the air spray foam. So we're going to have some sort of inner layer and then spray foam that inner layer and then put the outer cover on top of it so that everything stays put.
Thanks. That's awesome.
Awesome. Congrats again. I mean, coming full circle. I know that there's never an easy way forward. So like we've always said, there's always a high level of scrappiness to get things off the ground. So congrats on being scrappy and moving things forward. And we'll be very excited to see what the next steps are.
Thank you, Ruben.
All right, Connor, you're up.
Thank you, Ruben, and great to see you. It's so good to be back in the AGA call. Been busier than heck lately, and been missing this. So good to see you, Anch, and love that Quaint is getting so much good news and taking some shape. We'll probably chat later today about the revision to your report. And yeah, good to see so many other friendly faces on this call. Little intro to myself. Connor Schwab, Vice President at Sage Outdoor Advisory. Essentially, our kind of main service that we provide is feasibility studies. And so for those of you who don't know, there's kind of two main purposes to a feasibility study. Our clients come to us for two main reasons. Typically, they either own land or they have property under contract. And they come to us and they say, hey, we're looking at this piece of land to do glamping development. We've done some research and projections. We think this is a good idea, but this is our first time doing this. Before we go spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars and years of our time, we wanted to get a second look from kind of the specialists and the experts in the space to see if there's any big red flags that we're missing in the development or the zoning or the offering, unit mix, demand, supply, any of those things. And then the second is for folks who are going to raise money, whether you're going to a lender or private investors. A feasibility study from an independent third-party specialist always helps. Many banks will require it, but it's always helpful for something to be kind of submitted in your loan application. Typically, when people are going to raise money, I usually recommend that you have three things with you if you really want to be taken seriously. And that is your kind of like what Zach Stoltenberg just helped launch out with at Quaint, which is some of the site design, vision book, and some of the engineering, so people can see your project, they can see the site layouts, they can visually imagine what you're selling. The first thing actually you should always get is the zoning and entitlements. That's kind of the first thing. And then, the design and architecture, like I mentioned, and then a feasibility study. And those are kind of the three things that can help when you're going to raise money. So our feasibility studies, I guess, a little bit of details about them. They're very, very in depth. They're usually about 100 pages, and they look at everything from the weather to the attractions in an area, the seasonality, target customer. We pay for services to get insights on your population access, median household income, demographics, and then we'll spend a ton of time looking at best comps using our database, which Sage has done. If anyone's doing projections for their business, on the Sage Outdoor Advisory website, we have what we call the Glamping map, which has about 230 of the more prominent glamping businesses in the US listed. So if you're in an area and you're looking for comps for your businesses, that's a good place to start. So we use kind of our data, and we use all these things. I like to say at the heart of a feasibility study is a rates and occupancy projection, and then everything kind of stems from that revenue that you get from there. So we project the stabilization of your business and revenue over 10 years, the operating expenses. We'll project kind of the baseline development costs. And then if you're planning to finance the project, we'll put in kind of industry averages for financing, what we expect your property would sell for in year 10. And those types of things. And then we'll do a SWOT analysis for your offering and positioning in the market. And that's kind of everything that goes into a feasibility study that you can either use for your own internal strategic making or to take to investors to kind of add some third party. Obviously, if you go to a lender or a private investor and you've done projections, you might have done a lot of great research in that, but you have a vested interest in those projections. So sometimes people want to see the same thing, but from an independent third party. So that's where we can come in and help. And then we work with a lot of the great folks on this call that we can recommend people to. We also do appraisals. We're the highest level of appraisal certification, MAI. So that's if you need evaluation for your land or for your business. And that is Sage. So feasibility studies and appraisals. Also always happy to chat and recommend you to, if there's something that we don't do, then we recommend you folks that can help. Anyone? And then, I think it's always important to kind of talk about the why. And the why for us at Sage, or our mission, is to get more people outside and authentically connecting with nature. And we do that by empowering our clients. Thanks, everyone. Questions?
Thanks, Connor. Any questions for Connor? And this is an important part too, is the development of the industry, because, back in the day, 10 years ago, is a bit more just kind of throw stuff, throw a tent on a piece of land and everything seemed to kind of work out. But now, just with especially as Connor mentioned, that institutional capital, whether it's debt or equity or friends or family, whatever it might be, having, a knowledgeable third party voice just goes a long way. It's now needed more than ever. So.
Yeah, I have a question. So it's Dave Winterborn. I'm just now getting into this business, looking at acquiring some land. And so a feasibility study sounds like a great place to start for me. Do you have a ballpark on what feasibility studies would cost? Just a ballpark.
We're straightforward with our pricing. Base price for a feasibility study is $9,500. And then if you want someone to come out and do a site visit, that's usually $2,000 if someone has to get on a plane. Okay. And our turnaround time is about 7 weeks.
About 7 weeks. Okay.
And if you have a property under contract and you have like an urgent deadline, we can expedite that as well.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Connor, it's Glenn. How you doing?
Good to see you. Good to hear you, Glenn.
Good. Hey, just quick question. Are you guys doing your industry benchmark analysis again this year, or when would the next one be published?
I am hoping to. It is on the top of my to-do list. We've been so damn busy with deadlines that I haven't been able to put time into that. I really want to. We have the data. I just need to go in and write the report. So as soon as we get caught up on our backlog, that's going to be the first thing I'm doing. I'm really hoping to have something ready by the Glamping show, something that we can share with Ruben and the AGA and share at the Glamping show. Yeah.
Gotcha. Great data from last year. So looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, thank you. I heard some really exciting updates on your projects from Sherry. So glad to hear it's all moving forward well.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Awesome. And we'll open it up to at the end if we have a few minutes at the end, if anybody has any questions for any of those people that we're speaking today. So we'll make sure we carve out some time if there is at the end in case somebody thinks of something here. But let's go ahead. I think we've got Wendy, I believe, up next. So Wendy, floor is all yours.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm Wendy Brown Eyes. I am one half of a dynamic duo along with my husband, Keith. About 10 years ago, we started River Summit Group. It's a marketing strategy, film production, video production, and professional photography services, a small agency. We're based here in Ennis, Montana. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So basically, Keith and I started this company as a way to utilize our professional background and experience in combination with our passions for rivers and summits. Keith has been in the fly fishing world for many years, and I'm a mountaineer. And so basically, our backgrounds were very much in the marketing field. And so we went ahead and started this agency. It allowed us to partner with companies that are outdoor related and really help them to achieve what their business goals are. We started out primarily in the outdoor nonprofit conservation companies, things like that. And then over the years, it's really morphed into everything outdoor related, hospitality, people that just need small awareness films around their outdoor conservation goals. And then we've really gotten into the hospitality world as of recently. We joined AGA back in April and just love being a part of a community that are with a bunch of fellow outdoor enthusiasts. We call ourselves creative nomads. That kind of came from the fact that we will travel near and far in order to work with our clients all over the US. This is our primary team. Keith, he's in charge of everything creative based. I handle more the strategy end of things, putting together different strategies for our clients. We will make them a video and then help them utilize that in their marketing plans. We have Abby Rickard, who is in charge of everything graphic design related. And then many of you know Todd, he's on the call today as well. He's our resident expert when it comes to anything hospitality related. So I thought the best way for me to kind of utilize our website and show you what our services are, and then I'll also show you a quick example. I have a quick 2-minute video that I'll show as well. But just to give you an idea of some of our services, the video and photo production, that is our number one, our highest demand of the services that we offer. We really are what we call digital storytellers. We make sure that whatever you want your brand to convey, we're able to tell your story in a way that really touches people. Oftentimes people will tell us we're all about the heart, and we really enjoy creating more of like an emotional message for people, because people will relate with that so well. We do websites as well. A lot of people will just need like a little starter website. We can do everything from a basic starter website up to something that's more kind of custom designed. And then our content marketing, again, we sit down with you, we talk about what is the brand that you want to convey. And then we help you put that into words and also put it into images. So what I really wanted to share with you today is an example of one of the films. It's a short video, really, a promotional video. In this particular case, the owner of the company really just wanted something that showed their property. It's a fly fishing lodge on a ranch in Patagonia, Argentina. And he wanted something set to music. So in this particular video, there's not anyone speaking about the property itself. Really what we do is we cater specifically what you want in your video. If it's more of an interview style, we're happy to do that. But this example that I have today is just set to some music. So go ahead and start.
And when, if you want to share that link too in the chat, because sometimes I know on Zoom it could be a little delayed, but if you wouldn't mind sharing that link as well, that'd be great.
For sure. Yeah, I'll share a couple of links. Our YouTube page has a lot of examples of the different types of film production that we do. Also, on the website, if you dig into our portfolio a little bit deeper, we do a lot of still photographs of facilities. There's really nothing video, film, photography related that we really can't do. So just a couple of examples. I think I'm kind of at my time for right now, but just so you know, we do offer AGA members a free consultation. All of our services are priced a la carte, so you don't have to necessarily sign up for this huge package. I mean, some of our clients, just will bring us in for a smaller job, and then it might lead to something bigger down the road, but there's really no minimum amount that's required in order to work with us. And yeah, please poke around on our website a little bit more. There's a lot more information there. And I'm here to chat through anything if you would like to jump on a call.
Awesome. Thanks, Wendy. And if anybody has any follow-up questions, go ahead and reach out to her directly, and then we'll see if we have time here at the end of the call. But thanks for sharing, Wendy. Really appreciate that.
Great.
Next up, I think we got somebody on from SkyWeb.
Hi, Ruben. Yes, I'm so sorry. I was muted the whole time.
No, you're good. You're up.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Utsa. I am representing SkyWeb today. With the couple people talking, I did see a few familiar faces, so it's really good to see you here. So I'm gonna go right in with Wi-Fi services being at its peak, right? No matter where people are going, be it camping or glamping, or even on a short vacation, they're always looking for a secure network to connect to, secure place to work from. So this is something that we specialize in, right? So we are seen as the industry leader in both the Wi-Fi services and the AI camera infrastructure. And we provide unique and customizable solution to all property owners, because at SkyWeb, we understand that each property we need to service, or each property owner that we are collaborating with, have their own ideas that they would want to be executed. Right. So like I said, we provide customizable Wi-Fi solution that helps align their needs and all the execution perfectly with each property that we do. We always want to be an asset to our property owners. Thus, with AGA members, we are trying to do more of a in-house financing feature that allows you guys to do like 60-month interest-free payments if you are looking for, or if you guys are starting up, we do have newly launched hosted services where SkyWeb collaborates with our property owners to do the entire infrastructure for you for the initial few years, so that we're helping our property owners not only grow their business, also provide proper secure network that their customers can rely on when they are either vacationing or if they are doing a quick getaway. A lot of entrepreneurs, they like to work from home and stuff like that. So we are allowing them to do so as well. On top of that, we do allow all of our property owners and managers to be completely hands off of the Wi-Fi system. So we do complete monitoring of every piece of equipment we put out there at the property. So if anything is seen offline, anything is seen issues, any testing needs to be done, we do it on our side rather than the property owners having to do that themselves. At the end of the service, once installation and everything is completed, we also do guest call center support. So if someone forgets the password that they have signed up with, or if someone does not know how to connect their phone, or are having issues with their laptop, they will contact us rather than the property owners or the managers to get any assistance needed. So to end this, I do want to say that we are a complete turnkey solution, and we always help our property owners from consultation to installation to electrical to guidance, all the way towards the end with customer service. So any questions so far, I am happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions? Don't be shy either. Type them in, or if anybody wants to jump in and clarify or ask any questions. All good for now? Okay, sounds good. And yeah, make sure you put your information in there as well so people can reach out. And again, I mean, what's been, you know, interesting progression over the last several years too is more and more competition comes into the space. You know, what you provide or what you choose not to provide, you know, really has to be in line with your brand and who you're trying to, you know, go after. And so being methodical about you know, what you're providing, when you're providing it, who you're providing it to, and as a total package is just important, right? And so being able to choose what works best for your property and the add-on amenities is a big choice. So thank you very much. Do we have somebody on from our last speaker? Should be from Woodall's. Anybody on? Let's see. Okay, if you're on, send me a message, but what we can do for now, we got about 10-15 minutes left. If anybody has any general kind of open forum questions, either for the speakers who've already spoke or any general kind of topics or industry questions that people would like to bring to the table, we can, while we have the group on, spend the last few minutes if anybody wants to pop in and again, ask the speakers any follow-up questions or anything to that nature with more of an open forum topic. So anybody want to jump in?
Hey, Ruben. Just a quick question. Maybe could you provide an update on the glamping show, sort of status, how that's going?
Yeah. So just a quick reminder: the early bird tickets do stop going on sale, I think, in a week or two. I forget the exact date. So I would you know, recommend if those are interested, get the register sooner than later. There is more on-site glamping that is opened up, and there are a few vendor spots that are still open outside, but inside is booked up. And we did have to clarify too, there are you know, there's the pre-show that's on Monday. So anybody who's more in the glamping basics realm, I would show up on that Monday as well. And then we'll have a few interesting topics in the morning around exit strategies within the unique outdoor glamping space. So what people are doing, how they're raising money. So we'll have a few more panelists and people there to specifically answer questions around debt, equity, family offices, and, you know, different mechanisms of how people are funding. So we'll have those people that are there. And so that should be interesting topic as well. And so still very excited about the movement and the momentum for the show. And again, I know we always say this every year, but there's just obviously a lot of business that gets done, a lot of introductions, a lot of networking. And so even if you're in research mode, remember there's the expo part of it as well. So, you know, if you have any clarifying questions or anything, just let me know. But it's somehow just around the corner. So let us know if anybody has any questions.
It is the absolute best. You can get 6 months of learning and networking done in 2 days. It's the best. You got to be there. Couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I second that. I didn't know anything about it until I got there. So thank you very much, Ruben, for inviting.
No, this, I mean, interesting to see the pulse for this year, but you know, the feedback that we got this last year too is that there was a significant amount of you know, business, and it's just a very productive event for everybody. And so you know, we're hoping it's more the same this year. Go ahead, Connor.
Oh yeah, I had a question for the group. I'm always curious to hear how, you know, anyone who's launching a glamping business, just how they're finding the money climate. If you're raising money for a project, whether you've been speaking with traditional banks and lenders, or, you know, seeking out private capital from institutional groups or friends and family. I'd just love to hear anyone's feedback on how that's going, like struggles, what's working, what hasn't been working. I'm happy to share our insights as well, because that's kind of what we do, but it's always nice to get, because it changes so quickly. So I'm always curious what people are finding in the market.
Yeah, Connor, I can do a quick response there. It's it's a painful climate right now. So we're doing bank financing, and we've got that in motion. And I think as you probably may be aware that we're approved and moving forward, hoping that our timing works out fairly well with interest rates when we're ready to consolidate and amortize that loan. But still a challenging climate, I think, as everyone's aware.
Yeah, and I don't know if you'd be willing to share this, and I actually didn't look at your financing terms for that project personally, but if you'd be willing to share, like, was it a private bank, local bank? Was it through like USDA, SBA? What was the term, interest rate? Anything you'd be willing to share on that?
Yeah, we're still in the process of closing on the second loan, but we're through Farm Credit is our partner. Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll add a little bit to that as well, is that the climate on account of the interest rates has been difficult. It's moved the needle a bit on feasibility for projects that we've been working on, but it's also created some opportunities. I don't like it when bad things happen, but it creates opportunities for others. But that's kind of been the case in some of the instances where people had SBA loans or floating rate loans over the last 2 to 3 years. While their revenue might be strong and great, it's the debt side of the equation that's ramped up and made the projects a little bit more difficult to make work. So it's created some opportunities, but generally in the market, and this goes from the hotel market as well, there's a lot of dry powder sitting out there, waiting for opportunities to arise as an impending or a potential recession takes place. So that's kind of my feedback.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Yeah, I've tried a couple of resources. So Angel Investment Network, they cost $2,200 a month. So I tried them for the first month. I got a fake call from Nigeria, somebody wanting to invest in my business. So other than that, there was no additional interest. So I kind of shied away from extending my membership to that group. I tried Gust. That also didn't help out because they were mostly about SaaS, software as a service companies, which is not what we are. Then I tried Republic for seed funding, and they wanted to, even though they called themselves seed funding company, they wanted to have some sort of minimum viable product, which means they want you to provide some sort of initial balance sheet before they started funding for you. So that didn't work out well either. So currently I am with the bank that came to the Glamping show. I don't know if you guys have known Stone Bank. They are pretty good. They gave me a decent injection requirement, and the interest rates are pretty flat across the board, no matter which bank you go to, and it's an SBA 7A, so working that well.
What was the rate, did you say, Ash?
The rate, so the old rate that we checked, probably March this year was 10.25.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
This is Mike Crow. I can kind of comment on that chain that you started, Connor. I'm with Mitten Getaways. We're in Michigan. We're trying to start up a glamping resort on the eastern side of the state. We have our land under contract, and right now our two biggest hurdles are township approval that we got to get through after we get our site plans put together, but also funding. We're doing a kind of a combination strategy, or two parallel strategies, where we're raising funds through a convertible note, while also having a bank as a fallback through a USDA loan. In fact, Stone Bank as well, which Echo has been really good to work with. And it may be of interest to everyone on this call, or some people on this call to take a look at our investors page. We've stood it up as kind of a something akin to WeFunder or like a crowdfunding thing, even though it's not crowdfunding, it's a convertible note. But I'll put the link in the chat. And as always, I appreciate anybody's feedback on how we've set that up.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Anyone else? Okay, I can kind of share my sense or just general kind of fundraising strategies as well as what we're seeing. And Ruben and Todd, I know you guys have a lot of experience with this, so if you have anything you'd like to add or have seen something else, feel free to chime in. Typically, so there's not a lot of private money actively looking to invest in glamping startups that we found. It's pretty hard. I would just in terms of private money, there's kind of two main routes. And typically if it's your first property, first time in hospitality operations, that's seen as pretty risky in the eyes of most private investors. So the best route is high net worth individuals, people through your network. Angel investors is typically how we see people get their first project off the ground if they don't have the capital themselves. Once you have 2 to 3 years of good operating history and profitability at your first site, it's far easier to get private and bank investment for a second property or for an expansion of your existing property. And we've seen a lot of our clients do that. They'll even start with 2 or 3 units, operate those for 2 years, and then go and raise more money once they've proven that they can get the rates and occupancy in their business projection. And then as far as kind of the lending climate, if people are looking for, conventional or construction loans for their first project, we're usually seeing that banks will cover 60 to 70% through like conventional traditional lending. And then sometimes if you get SBA or USDA, like some of these government-backed loans, you might be able to get as high 90% of the project covered. And then we're usually seeing interest rates between like 7.5% to 10%. If it typically goes up with the higher percentage of your project that's financed. And yeah, I think that's kind of like my overarching what we're tending to see also in terms of number of units. It's pretty unlikely that an institutional investor is going to look at acquiring or funding something that's not a lot of units, not a lot of volume. Like if it's less than 20, a lot of folks won't even look at it. They're really looking for things in like the 30 to 40 unit range. Obviously it depends on the property and things like, and the luxury level and things like that, but a higher volume of units is going to be far more attractive to some of those more institutional, sophisticated folks. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to add to that.
Well, Charlie,
I've got a question for that one. My perception of the industry is that at that scale, you're starting to work with a lot of on the ground services like reception and maybe even staff. Would you say that is a sort of breaking point in terms of business models that are attracting that kind of investment?
There's kind of two routes you can go. We could almost probably spend a whole session on this, and maybe it's a subject matter for Ruben at some point, but there's kind of like the short-term vacation rental getaway, autonomous check-in. The experience is the unit itself. There's not a check-in, there's not a concierge, there's not a lot of active activities or programming. It's mostly like your guest experience is combined to the unit itself. And then you have on the other end of the spectrum, like high service, high-end, guest check-in, concierge, food and bev activities, like the collective retreats. People are on the high end of guest service. I don't think either is right or wrong. They're just very different. And, I think some institutional investors would look at the getaway model and say, hey, this is the best. This is the way we want to go. And some might look at the collective retreats model and say, hey, this is the best. This is the way we want to go. And like the industry is evolving. So, there's more than one way to do it.
Thanks.
And we're kind of running out of time here. Any last comment or question before we wrap up for this session? Anybody want to be the last comment or feedback?
Cute dog.
There's a
Yeah, sorry, he was just like attention catcher.
The Frenchie.
Thank you.
glamping business spotlight. It'll be bring your dog.
Bring your dog, yeah.
Yeah. And everybody will be able to introduce their pup. No, and just to close the loop on that, that's great feedback. And hopefully, maybe one of the sessions here moving forward, we can really focus on knowledge share around what people have seen and experienced within conversations with, debt, equity, everything from lessons learned in business plans. I mean, as the years go on, there are some, just proven things that need to be in there. Banks are traditionally looking for proof that you're going to be a good steward of their money, right? They're going to be looking for team rather than individuals in many cases. But at the end of the day, there is something that has been consistent across the years, right? Is that there's continues to be this chicken or the egg situation that you guys mentioned, right? Where they're saying, great, show me that you can be a good steward. And then you're saying, well, great, I need your money to be able to show you that I can prove this out. And being able to kind of dislodge that, situation is really an important part of it. And it's really a level of being scrappy and really being thorough and really, doing the work. Because at the end of the day, you can't wing this. And at the end of the day, you can't just, figure it out along the way. There has to be a lot of planning that's involved. So, hearing you guys talk, I think maybe one session here moving forward that might be beneficial is just a knowledge share. Now that more and more people have more and more experiences, there's more institutional capital that's in there, and not every lender or every partner is the same, right? And there's going to never be a cookie cutter approach to anything that is done here. But what can we learn from other people's experiences? How can we help other people prior to them crossing that bridge? And then even more importantly, how can we maybe come up with some solutions that create some win-wins for everybody? So,
Hey, Ruben.
Yes, go ahead, Glenn.
If you don't mind, a quick question I'll throw out, maybe as a takeaway for next time is, as we're talking about the cost of capital and the cost of supply, just the cost of doing business as an operator, are we seeing, or are you seeing, or Connor, that the nightly rate from an inflation standpoint or whatever you want to call it, is it going up commensurate with those, the cost of capital and the cost of supply? Are we seeing that? And I know I'm seeing it anecdotally as I look at other operators and what they're charging, but I'm wondering if we have any industry data that supports that as well.
There should be some more information here towards the end of the year, especially as the season runs, that will give us a little bit more concrete evidence there. There's assumptions, right? And one of those assumptions that, remember, ADR through the pandemic was just sky high and wasn't necessarily sustainable. So as those rates decrease, the question was, were they really decreasing or were they really just stabilizing, right? Were they just kind of getting back to a normal growth pattern, or were they decreasing? So does, inflation and cost of doing business here through this past season, will that, inflict some changes on the ADRs? I think so. And I think, even when it comes to just gross revenue for the month, for a traditional busy season month, we'll have some adjustments there because, we're seeing still people struggling a lot with that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday slots. The Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just like with any hospitality, not as big of an issue. So I think the stabilizing rates, I think travel normalizing in certain degrees, not everywhere, but in certain hospitalities, does that all, come in and affect that overall kind of industry ADR average? Sure. But then there's no blanket answer there too, because some operations have kind of managed and maintained, while some have taken a bigger hit. And so I think we'll need another season to figure out what that all means across the board. But are there changes from, 2 seasons ago? Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah.
From a projection point of view, having done feasibilities for about 30 years around the globe, the takeaway is that room rates in, whether it's hotels or glamping or whatever, they do not participate in the basket of goods that makes up CPI. Therefore, there's definitely gonna be a correlation in your costs for sure, but room rates typically do not rise above across the board on a general basis. They don't grow faster than inflation typically. So taking inflation and saying, hey, I'm going to project my room rates at and a little bit above that, it's not good practice typically. Sorry, it's kind of bad news, but
yeah, but are they going up at all because of inflation?
I would go back to Ruben's point, which is you had a blip during the pandemic that jacked occupancy and rate in the sector overall, and we'll probably get back to a 2019 level pretty soon, and then it'll continue to grow from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Todd, if you were doing a pro forma projection for your own business, what would you be realistically projecting for your ADR growth rate over 10 years?
So there's always two ways to do it. There's one way, which is where you're the consultant, and then the other way is where you're the business.
That's what I'm saying. If you're the business,
yeah, it's two different ways. That's probably a longer discussion. But at this point, I would use a more traditional approach, which would be to look at where I think the room rates are right now, and where I would be in that relation, whether up or down, and then I would mark that as my rate at stabilization, and then I would use discounting coming back to the opening year. That's how I do it.
Okay.
Again, longer discussion.
And something else that's thrown an interesting wrench too is that, as we talk about those adjustments is a true understanding of seasonality. Certain areas really got hit hard with either extreme heat or, extreme weather, or they couldn't get up and running when they needed to, or they had a shutdown earlier or later. So I think there's another adjustment there when it comes to kind of the big picture of what we're talking about. But the type of structures that people are purchasing now, having been very sensitive to seasonality, the comfort around capital saying, hey, I was comfortable with you being open 6 months out of the year, but I would really love for you to be open 10 months out of the year. Like, what do we need to do, to do that? And there's not a lot of answers there, because I feel like that's a newer top of mind thought for people, but seasonality didn't play much into that 4 or 5 years ago, is maybe kind of there, but now there's a lot more higher sensitivity to that from multiple, for obvious reasons, right? An operation that's open 5 months out of the year on paper isn't always as exciting as something that can be open 12 months out of the year. And certain areas like in Austin, for example, which thought to be, maybe, out of earshot of, bad weather. I mean, they had ice storms and many operations had to shut down for 2 weeks at a time because of the amount of damage. And you wouldn't think that, the Austin area, Texas Hill Country would have that type of, weather. But so there's also these variables that when you're outside in Mother Nature, maybe in the middle of nowhere, just, are now part of the equation, when earlier they weren't really thought of as much.
Good info.
All right, we'll let you guys go. Thank you, guys. Very, great thoughts and great insight there. And it really starts to, get me thinking that we can, kind of to your point, this is obviously a topic that we could talk about for 30 days straight and still maybe not, get halfway through it. So maybe we can come up with a mechanism to really there's just such great knowledge, from everybody. So how do we maybe create a mechanism to really share and cut through that so that people can get feedback, get the creative juices going and tools and resources from people who are also going through the process in real time, sooner than later, versus maybe, great, you did that 6 months down the road versus we're doing this now. And I think just that type of knowledge share just really never hurts. So hopefully we can continue to do something like that. Awesome. Stay out of trouble, everybody. Thanks for popping in, and we're looking forward to connecting soon.
Well, thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks, Ruben. Thanks, everybody.